Good evening, folks. LQ here on this Monday, October the 12th, 7:50 Eastern Standard Time. We're taking a look at the GFS model right now. You can see some of the greens, the dreariness, the drizzle that will be with us here in northern New Jersey, New York City metro area, and southern portion of New York State through tomorrow morning. All right, let's take a look. Let's just move this model through. You can see it. Some patches of green, and then things move out as the low pressure system moves out and up of this area. Things should moderate a little bit, and then you have another system swinging through here, and we actually towards the end of the week. Sorry there, Lyncher. I know it's going to happen Friday night, but we have a coastal low developing, and it's going to be rainy and dreary towards the end of the week, late Friday in through Saturday. Temperature wise, here we are for Saturday. You see the 30s invading into the northwest western region of the state. And the urban heat island keeps things into the upper 40s to 50-degree range. And as you see, the swath going to the 40s down to South Jersey as well. Take a bigger view of Saturday. Here's all your 30s. Here's your cold air that's going to try to push its way in. See, this time of the year, folks, you have along the Atlantic Ocean pretty warm waters, which help keep the coastal plain and the coastal regions warmer than you do once you get across the Appalachians that start in the Piedmont region here in New Jersey. Take a look at the wide view picture here. Okay, so this is looking at it from the northern hemisphere, from on top of our planet, you know, this rock that's floating through space that we call planet Earth. Okay, the reds, oranges are high pressure systems. The blues and greenish are low pressure, colder air. All right, unsettled weather. Okay, as you can see, a storm going out there into the Atlantic. Then you have this low pressure up top, okay, which will bring us the unsettledness with the blocking. These represent blocking. This is what's called the NAO, North Atlantic Oscillation, which helps kind of slow storms up and lock them in along the coast, depending on their positioning. We could play this through, and you can see how the blue kind of swings through, and this deepens over central Canada. The lobe kind of spokes down. It drops deeper into the southern region, and it kind of swings eastward. And if you see as we move through, see you have these higher pressures up top over the Arctic region and swing through and kind of horseshoe around. What starts to happen? Let me stop it right here. Tuesday. You start to see some of this blue down here. With this blocking over here and over here, you kind of get this tropical system form. Now, what it does from here is going to be interesting. So you have it down here, all right? Now, is there enough blocking that's going to connect between these two pieces? Don't think so, don't know at this time, but this is quite a ways out. Looking at 264 hours, we're looking at 10 days from now, okay, which is quite a while, 12 days from now. So we'll have to play this by ear, but you will have a tropical disturbance start to form in here. This morning, the GFS had it coming along the west coast and then up the east coast. Not a good scenario whatsoever with this low pressure system further back, tugging it in. Okay, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that as we move forward. Here is from New York Metro weather, thanks to the boys over there. Shows the high latitude blocking I'm talking about. Low pressure system developed. They swing around the base of the trough. Here's the trough sitting up over central Canada on a tilt here, going backward. Disturbances come along the bottom and then up and out around the base. So this will be the next 4 to 5 days as you see in this period of time here. So that's where we may get this coastal storm coming up and out. What you see here from 33 in rain, weatherboard. All right. This is a map showing the sea surface temperatures off of the west coast. Now, this is important going forward because if these remain and the waters remain warmer northeast of Hawaii, see what happens with this colder pocket of air. But if these remain here, it will promote higher pressure. Okay, right here. Okay, this warm pool, which will create an East Pacific oscillation to go negative. So the jet stream has to go up and over and then drop down on the backside through the Rockies and then come up along the coast, allowing colder air from the Arctic region to come down. All right, so we may have some wild swings with temperature wise, possibly in the fall and into the winter if this holds true. All right, what are we looking at here? We're looking at the GEFS, ensemble's polar cap height. Orangey colors mean a warming over the polar vortex region. That's high up in the atmosphere and stratosphere. So we have to take a look to see what this does because this will help promote and push down colder air into the region. Okay, here's another. Let me kind of take this, reset this for a second. And so you can see this is what they're talking about for December. This is what's happening at the next couple of weeks in October. This is what the forecast is by the CFS from due to coincide of the polar vortex and stratospheric warming, what can happen. Right, so if you have this elongation, it'll force things underneath it at our level. So you have these higher, all right, there's the warm waters promoting the East Pacific oscillation, the Arctic oscillation up here, and then you have the North Atlantic oscillation. These three connect, folks. You got a lot of cold air and storminess that'll come through. You can see the waviness to the jet stream that goes up, right? Follow this black line, comes up, this one too, up and over, and has to dive down on the back. So it's like a roller coaster, all right? So that's pretty important. That's what they're calling for December. Okay, so let me just increase the size of this for you. All right, so we have the polar vortex. If you have snow in Siberia and you have an increase in snow in Siberia, you have what's called a warming polar vortex. So it strengthens the jet stream to dive south, okay, as we move into the winter time. So if you get that going in the autumn time, which is now, and there is snow forecasted for the next 21 days over this region to build, then there's a possibility, we still don't know, that this polar vortex will help push the colder air down into the continental United States. Now, where that cold air goes, we don't know. That remains to be seen. But here is the map. All right, here's the analysis of yesterday. All this white is the snow cover. Okay, so we have Siberia and we have the North American continent here. Okay, so we have this whole area here. We have snow building, which is a good sign for that polar vortex, and then we have it over North America as well. Greenland's got a lot of snow. There's your North Pole as well. So for the great Al Gore who says we'll never see snow again, my children will never see snow again, well, he's been wrong many, many times. Here is a great video. It's going to show you how an ice age could be triggered. All right. And Ben Davidson is the scientist with this. All right, so he explains it in pretty scientific depth about what happens out in space as well as what could happen on this planet. All right, so just interesting information here of what happened in the past